Well, a few months ago, North Dakota's first state paleontologist was asked to be the Grand Marshal in this year's parade. Falling in love with rocks as a child encouraged John Hoganson to pursue the profession. Hoganson retired from the North Dakota Geological Survey in 2014. Before that, he developed a fossil resource management program for North Dakota and helped establish a federal law to protect fossil resources on federal lands. Hoganson also created the North Dakota State Fossil Collection that's on display at the Heritage Center in Bismarck. He also started the state's public fossil dig and launched the state's prehistoric life and geology studies programs.
Well, I think it's quite an honor for me to be the Grand Marshal. It's something I've never done before. So, yeah, we were really pleased to be asked to do this.
John has received honors all across the state for his contributions to paleontology. We'll have the full list of his accolades on our website.